Lord God, thank you for this day. Thank you for the people that are present today that took the time out of their busy schedule to meet with us this morning, and also for people that are on the road or taking care of things, be with them and be with our council delegate and his LDA, and also our chapter officials, wherever they may be, and the community members that are within their jurisdictions or in the place that they're overlooking. Also, we pray for the president, vice president of the Navajo Nation, and also the council delegates and all of the directors of the president and anybody else that is working for them. Also pray for healing and peace for the Navajo Nation. And I also ask that you give all our leaders wisdom and understanding and compassion for the people they work with. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Even that Krotzazin Khaliado. Even as you do something, Lindo Lestida. Sake Sonat Akro Bansade Kisi Kro Nas Nejit Benige. Ko Ebego. The next item on the agenda is review and adopt the agenda. Mr. Secretary, can you read the agenda into the record, please?
Good morning. Again, NOST Regional Council meeting Saturday, April 2nd, 2022 at 9 a.m. Roll 1 meeting call to order. 2 is roll call. 3 is invocation. 4 is review and adopt the agenda. 5 is approval of the November 20th. I'm sorry, that's not right. Okay, let me grab the correct date. For some reason, they might have, I'm sorry, March the 6th, meeting minutes. And we'll make sure we annotate that as a change. Back to the agenda here. Approval of the March 6th, 2022 meeting minutes. Announcements to be determined as District Grazing Committee. Saturday, June 18, 2022 at 9 a.m. is the Western Navajo Agency Council meeting. Host is Bird Springs Chapter. The not just on chapter to be determined, not just on chapter regular chapter meeting to be determined, J2 chapter planning meeting to be determined, J2 chapter regular meeting to be determined. Wednesday, April 6, 2022 at 5 p.m. Shanto Community Governance Executive Planning Board. Saturday, April 9, 2022 at 9 a.m. Shanto Community Governance Council of Nata. And then Apikin Chapter Planning Meeting is Monday, April 4th at 10 a.m. Apikin Chapter Regular Meeting Monday, April 11th at 10 a.m. Moving on now to 7, Report Government Leadership. A, Mr. Jonathan Nez. B, Mr. Myron Lizer. C, A, Mr. Jonathan Nez, Navajo Nation President. B, Myron Lizer, Navajo Nation Vice President. C, Seth Damon, 24th Navajo Nation Council Speaker. D, Herman Daniels, Navajo Nation Council. E, Vern Benali, Navajo County District 1 Supervisor. F, Lena Fowler, Coconino County District 5 Supervisor. Number 8, reports NOST Regional Chapter President. A, Patricia Blackhorn, that's on chapter. B, Willis B. Gale, Gentle Chapter President. C, Roland Small Canyon, Shanto Community Governance President. D, Geraldine Chi, Sapikin Chapter President. A, 9, presentation presenters. A, Coconino County Supervisor Redistricting Plan presentation by Miranda Morales. B, to be determined, and then 10, discussion issues and concerns. A, Mr. Roland Small Canyon NOST Regional Plan of Operations. 11, resolutions, action items. Resolution number 1, NOST 2022-092-001 to be determined. NOST number 2, resolution number NOST 2022-092-002 to be determined. 12, next regional council meetings, July 2nd, 2022, hosted by Topican chapter. And 13 is adjournment. With that, Mr. Chair, we do have an updated agenda that would consist of the NOST on chapter planning meeting, which is Wednesday, April 6th at 2022 at 4 p.m. The NOST on chapter regular meeting is Saturday, April 9th, 2022 at 10 a.m. While JTO chapter planning meeting is Saturday, April 9th, 2022 at 10 a.m. While JTO regular meeting is April 24th at 10 a.m. Mr. Chair, the agenda has been read.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for reading the agenda into the record and with the updates on the chapter meetings. So that's read into the record. With that, I'll need a motion, Council.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Shada. Okay, second E Larole.
Second.
Patricia Blackhorn.
I think Madam Vice President from Shanto, Marcia, second. Thank you, Ms. Blackhorn. So Marcia be the second. Any questions or comments or add on at this time?
Chair, this is Darlene.
Oh, yeah, you have the floor.
Thank you. Previously, we have been adding the CVOs, chapter veterans organizations. I'm not sure why it got taken off this time. Because we have our commanders, some of the commanders are listening. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up. As you know, the previous meeting, none of the commanders were present. And at the Western Agency Council, they're not recognized as, they're usually not on the agenda. So it including that. So the agenda.
Chair, this is Darlene
Maybe-
again.
Yeah, you had your comment. I want to open the floor to the rest of the council. So one at a time. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What was your name? I didn't hear it. There's a NC supervisor. Oh, Navajo County, is that?
It was me. I forgot to mute myself. Thank you. I
Okay.
apologize.
Well, thank you for joining us, Shema. Any other comments? Okay, back to you, Ms. Pino. What was it, your comment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Small Canyon. Earlier, I guess it's really up to our members. I didn't, I believe that the veteran CVOs are part of the communities. Although CVOs, even though it's not at the Western Navajo Agency, and it doesn't mention on our bylaws, which needs to be, a plan of operation needs to be revised. However, you began with the meeting by saying that all the 4 chapters, they share their concerns and also participates the Nova Haiti. So not all the time that chapter veterans organization on here at the chapter level leaders need clinicy, we're not really sometimes we're not involved with their meetings and some of the things that may happen, some of the things that they may wish to address. I added when I did the agenda back, I added them in there. That's when I added when I created the agenda the last several meetings ago. They are community members. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Ms. Pino, Madam Vice President. With that, there's no other comment. Let's put the motion to vote. Mr. Secretary, can you do the roll call vote?
Daniel, how do you vote? Again, this was the adoption of the.
Green.
How do you vote? Arlene Pino, how do you vote?
My vote is based on the veterans being excluded, chapter veterans organization. I abstain.
Shanatani, we're doing a vote, so there's no more comments. Please just vote yes or no, or green or red or abstention. Please.
Sorry, this is Patricia Blackhorn. I'm sorry, Chair. I vote in favor.
Thank you.
You, Patricia votes green. Darlene votes in the abstain. Ella Badani, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Russell Small Canyon. Don't see him online. Willis Begane, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Dean Holiday, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Marietta Bedoni, how do you vote? Benedict Daniels, are you online? I don't see them. Roland Small Canyon, not voting, and Marcia Gray Eyes.
Rain,
Thank you. Robert Black, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Thank you. Brittany Hunt, how do you vote? She's not online. Geraldine Chi, how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you. Chancey Notestein, how do you vote? He's not online. Della Curley votes in favor. Happy JB Gang, also not online. With that, Mr. Chair, we have 9 in favor, 1 abstention, and one not voting. Or two not voting. Mr. Chair, do you want me to count Marietta Bedonia as abstained or not voting?
Was she, only if they call to, I mean, if they're present.
Okay. With that, we have 9 in favor, 1 abstention, and 1 not voting.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. So with that, we have agenda deep, and that's it. Today meeting on a Kedolech. Although the next item on the agenda is announcement number 5, approval of Mr. Secretary, can you make the screen a little bigger on the agenda, please? So bifocals, oh yeah. There you go, thank you. Could approval of November 20, 2021 meeting minutes. This email was sent out for your review and approval. I mean, oh, you had time to review it, so Kado 8 meeting minutes. Bani Kado I'll need a motion and a second. Shanat Ani.
Here, I make a motion. This is Marcia.
Okay, thank you.
I'll
I'll
second
need a
it. Willis Begay, second.
Thank you. With that, a motion and a second has been established. So let's, any questions or comments on the minutes?
Chair, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, just a comment. We received the information via email, so we should have already read it, so no need to read it. That's just my comment out loud.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Vice President. Any other questions or comments? So but then let's put the motion to vote. Mr. Secretary, can you do a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Mr. Herman Daniels, how do you vote?
Green.
Votes green, thank you. Patricia Blackhorn, how do you vote?
In favor?
Thank you. Darlene Pino, how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you. Ellen David Donnie, how do you vote?
In favor?
Thank you. Moving on down to Willis Begay, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Dean Holiday, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Marietta Bedoni, how do you vote? Moving on down to Shantu, chair not voting, and moving, Commissioner Graham,
I vote green.
thank you. Robert Black, how do you vote?
In the affirmative.
Thank you very much. Geraldine P, Topican chapter, how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you. Della Curley votes in favor. With that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 10 in favor and 1 not voting.
Okay. Okay, with that, the motion carries. The in favor have it. Let's see, the next item on the agenda is, before I continue, I'd like to say, express my appreciation to Mr. Shaddad Dilip Curley for being our secretary. He's doing a real good job at creating the agenda out of minutes, though. And I mean, it makes my job a lot easier than for everybody. So, Mr. Secretary Dilip Curley. Yeah, the next item on the agenda, announcements. So I'd like to continue down to reports, government leadership. Mr. Shajet Jonathan Nez, are you on the line with us? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. He might join us later on. At that time, we'll give him the floor. I know he has a busy schedule. Letter B, Mr. Myron Lizer, Navajo Nation Vice President. You have the floor, Mr. Vice President. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Mr. Vice President Lizer. Going down to letter C, Mr. Seth Damon, 24th Navajo Nation Council Speaker. You have the floor, sir. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. He's not with us. Mr. Herman Daniels, Navajo Nation Council. You have the floor. Oh, Ritza.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Okay, let me step out here. Mr. Chair, thank you very much. Kudo. Yeah. Nana kudo. Senat an sheniki kudo. Kudo the bedan hitochi ita kudo. Yeah, kiti ni dollars kudo. Arunta kudo. Not on or J2, not 2 other that Lapican chapters. Cardinal Loshanigi. I can't get $8. I don't know, Bevan and Dad. That's so far. But colony is so Jacodo. I don't know, Kudo, Reverend Shisha. Is hostel, Edo Jacodo. Today I'm here at Bernalillo. Today, Navajo Nation Oil and Gas were having a meeting on one of the legislation that is a Nazi Glasgow, the helium legislation, hydrogen legislation, the kiddo, even Yakuda, Hinani, Taekwondo, Adonanakodo. I've been nuts for it as the issue, because it's not been nuts for the deal, they should have not been nuts. So the Zenigi Kodo, a Bentley Kodo, and Hinashni Kodo, Shinsanat, Arthur Senigi, Nahash, Senator, and Hiran had Ajita, a hand forcing Kodo, for the Zenigi Bay, the Behasi, or this morning Kodo. A God, Lenigi, Kodo, I see Kodo. The case shot at the Kodo. Nan is Lenigi, I have Kate at the shop. A con rate data in a rate Godsdale, the A, Shannon is not in there. So Kodo. A do has in Toko E Kodo E. it has anigate aquadon rate like na gay what all the wasata phone service that being ko dark zone the no ko what that ego by gate ko so says then ki aquadon rate not on all jet to the 4 chapters could by part the snit the snow at the cut the shako ko they have this little device for internet so this will be very good for my communities. So in which about was county that na kina ajik at all lesson no kodo akotana yana yafil kito na kodo ayabaha seko. This will be very good for not just on Navajo Canyon go yata kedahat enigita arudan reja pai message kedahat enigita ashnada ashtaki. They can utilize the snowkodo arudan takodon re or zed towards the shant towards the papi kenjo. There's some dark areas where there's no cell service. Ahodat got I see that Johnny get I know yet has now called them some delegates could on that 3 or 4 delegates could yet on that call delegate Mark Freeland eight three on yeah I see the quick days three echo between Crown Point and Farmington highway 371 so I see them cell services and that thing so could test land and Johnny at Lano did Johnny at Lano so you thought yeah it's not hot so this could Nagazam Shibahat Peter Fideni for a level people to snow with Nahat Kitten Ecuador yet no ta Nakina Hedgeway as we can other saying was a bit bass lot of the Casina by Leniki Ecuador is up Pani Gate or less. So it is that Dana at the Shako Aronana Quebec at Quebec the great north of Albuquerque. Kodana Slokado. So Kodona Gate at the Quick say Adole, the English Nagator hold Sunday at the central level. Kodona Gate, Kishpa House and Kodo legislation 25721. It's still there. I don't know Kodo table Ligado at Kodo out of Kahan Nana so the Kodo Navaki 2 days in India. At Twin Arrows in Sunday. Na keep saying yeah, and the Sado Khalid it all there's no data. So the great legislation 25721 ADK. So the great at the end, the great amendments ben it's on the great delegate Crowdy. Could on the great equal distribution nego. Out of Kato amendments about night could on the great amendments that yeah for Johila. So the great delegate Slater. Amendment and Nia as we ever have been Jacob. But the great the final vote. The vote was 13 in favor, 9 opposed. So Zako. Because she said Zeniki yeah opposed Sadida. But Nanigi doi I see he host really thinking about delegates that represent multiple chapters again. Iban this case so Arunana Kodoshin Papa Hono Vink on the press release president executive branch of a kind of like a discretionary fund yeah what an alloy bent in national yahat vehicle Arostan Hanana skins Ecuador a press release from the legislative branch so Ecuador the Twin Arrows data easy get a has Ecuador so Ecuador Pasita is net or let the Mobis kind of special session is net and we haven't get enough signatures yet. So what Ecuador we need 13 signatures. As of today, there's only 9 signatures. So Ecuador I go kodo baban sas case. Khalid I bonet not ko dite. Khalid I kodo na gaidam amendment gaidam. How will this amendment help my community? So at Araban sas case about night this kikodo. Baro nana kodo or you kind like a Slater amendment gate right or you're going to write delegates gate per delegate region. But you that all next to what I just like for my region. For my region, 34 million 671,000 when I live or that amendment is Yako. So I think and given who know how to make all this, they're not NATO president sign la da. I think given who know how to make all this, Nana. I think he have not that bad all this. They based on his they're not lane. I or say for the 4 chapters. I think the dish for the aban fakis. I later is hosne. So I don't think for the there's another not I was saying even later. Projects to identify another later less aren't the expenditure plan that getting another net or less ago. So it's going to take time to less nana as well. So if on this case or did I go so all George was all has it came to that a did with so could on the great learned to navigate. I was the first one to speak in opposition to the amendment. Then at this legislation, but now I got it. Need about that all this. At the end of the day, and then get back in the house. Nay, it's a job at the end. So I able to do or delegates like what I had to see. The delegate thing of the Ninigi and me. And they I don't know you had to see. So 9A, but imagine me. So I read during the special session. We need 16 votes, yes votes, to pass this legislation. I think the national net on this because I think net on this Monday, so it only spends $1,000. So it is yakado the ICC. Baban that's case to this Yego Banai the skittle this Kododa where in the meeting and outside the meeting she's I'll be working closely with that NTUA. Now, but this kid all this ago. So it is only $1,000. I don't know the other day, Thursday, I believe was Thursday. I in that as I see place in that is I see place. Young San Juan County Road. As you get stuck about not seat in the as you know, there's the 2 delegates represent the Utah chapters. Well, there's 3. Delegate Brown, myself, and Delegate Charlene. So, but I sit on RDC. I don't know where the oversight to NDOT. I don't know I hate that agreements that made I don't know agreement in a great silversmith, Gary Silversmith, Yamaha. So it on his behalf, it was a free plane called a young way that in Teenage of San Juan County, a teenage which is not let me go equal a about an Hasiado, let's know it could all down. It up Ban Yafil, I don't know a peso, and then the Hegita. A 50-50. So what I could a needs that look at a could on a 50%. A could another what is in that out of 50% from San Juan County or like a cost sharing. But it is a great Silversmith, Mr. Silversmith, in that director. Is what I bananas, let all this Arunana signing ceremony without now she at Nade Ketolesico, the race cannot at our trophy. Zip Canada, now she could add Nade Ketolesico, out of shade or I sold got delegate Walker. So I just can't imagine what's Dokodo. Arunana delegate Paul Brigade, I just can't imagine what could so Diego a days na so de so it on his $1,000 I don't know lada a such a text every day na so I get the crazy text a day so that's a bit that's a snow kodo na gaida delegate Eugene so the legislation NOST kasigi so that same-sex marriage minigi aid a kodo ben hasan that's a snow kodo hot end kodo so it's a father shot dabe hanas sita what abe says the France says they don't snita kodo but as says then the gate on na kodo aro the many she a big hot I ban fast case so kodo aro na kodo I go isa nan kenol gehege kodo mi het hodalia a ko na reita as tweet a hallo da hwel sis na re ol je to sha to tsabi kenna an as tweet da sahage as tweet don da khashige like it at as da khashige da it is not over da khashige ada khot will achieve a hot change da inigida o year da hallo da hwel sis later ada hot zones canal that of e rasta o da egida tweet yeah that's even look about on the vehicle they say that and so yeah that is out of an tin go has in for a dilla han megi go has in for a and later so as not has in made or stand na han megi has in for a yes hata vehicle akoti o ye beta de hoti the way that Shanale delegate Eugene so the legislation is not kasige so had met with that data according to way have not or stand I don't understand what that is there as he holds this as not she today days no na ba na han as tweet of fan in lenige as okay fani as started I yes, yeah. As I see, I hot go as not today. Days at the Fanny, she asked that camp. Straight up at the Hashin Van Hall, Jason Day, Fanny, or Hashin to other letter ye at the legend. As Tribuna, the Shiki sheet or Yen for the so that Baba Hanne, out of Twido Hotza, Fanny banana, Shiki or ye at the la. So actually, when we deal with the winning cutter, the hard thing could I can not have played out not ill day. So you thought about the neck, it down at the hot eating. So a bunch of the case. You wait, argo, his doesn't then has tweet and day. His van it and day, the whole yarn that that's hot, other hot egg, ye ladder it down. Was actually not sati as others days other ita so other bands of case over the you can be selected it now lado nana kodo other krigo shiba hodon hegi had no hotide so even nasugo kodo so zinki kodo narrate not can be now like it on nana kodo narrate the zad ajabahan neki is so aj has in for even not tin the hallo aro nana kodo na reida hon ke hadet is na o kan gita sin so benan tin hallo so aja ko de do ida do just ida so hat ada sin aja yena tin o te ho kodo so kodo na reida when that legislation comes before council sin kodo hasin for be half the go less kodo so ide hot kodo dam Kodo grade so said me kodo machine flash kodo I read your text kodo I don't know I read your emails so that kodo should understand kodo so it yeah his husband told kodo but I kodo so hot Sunday na shago kodo I've been attending all the RDC meetings, the leadership meetings, in person that ni go adana shot ho so they had that Ecuador adana big do kado na adana shot go in person or teleconference that adana shot calling that in the special session ni hoda calling that do that adana shot so I don't that has been for hun shande do get your report the slide or let's go adana na pay hold just so kado Zayego ban that's kid do na haziste halita kado beso ge oye ana idol fast det tra hot tra has ante so na gaita NGS P-body da a beta iska beso kado wato bada hoilza bana lan hit ya na hin de out of far ko kado so fadlan do bahanaste halita kado anane idola What are they Bansas case Bahanaste? A cocadon gay helium, Jocadobek Aberbenahal Carnegie. That's gonna generate revenues for the Navajo Nation. So what has there's opposition la long land but Reda Kujiba Bansa case or Reda Beso Giliana in Degi Adonana Kodo Giliana in there in a great every year. Budget seasons go begin to hold chapters like begin to hold ben Michigan for one whole year. So what ego area ayaban just came for better yana in Degi. I don't just nana and a that techis as anja era bashina is Gouldings. Purchase of Gouldings. Edo passing for a nasi gardago. So our next meeting is going to be with the president. The case of Vinland, the case of Vin, the Ecuador great delegates in Lenigi, Kadonana, Ecuador president with Father the deeds Isa no Kado, Adonana, Hey, Joshua Tole, Nahal, Mego, Jot Ade, Ecuador, Bahad, Vikat, Adonana, Ecuador. One of the enterprise that came forward was Navajo Nation Hospitality Enterprise. Shabin, Scabby, Swasano, Ecuador, proposal, Ecuador, Haiti, La, Adan, Ecuador, Nadam, other enterprise, Ecuador proposal, but now kidding, in Shai Ata. So, Nadam, Navajo Nation Gaming Enterprise, up in Shiganoy, and it's a hard vehicle. So, $80,000. The hard made that, Nazay Goulding. Has for a peso Yanai Abahazanego. Adonana is going to be the Navajo Nation dollar. Let's go. Look at it. It's a private company, and he wants to sell this to the Navajo Nation. There's other other parties that are interested in this property. Outside people, the Ghana, Tore, Tornande, the Dada Handa Gubins. Diabetes, so young care, so but the owner Navajo Nation go or your priority go yes and go. As a way it's an idea, no it's a hard vehicle. So 88 and there not go. I don't know how much it's gonna cost 8 on appraisal gate I thought was net I got auto but hold the circle. So I think over how the next day go. On the great Chicago deal with the snow on the great speaker's office stuff. Speaker staff could have it Chicago deal with let's move this forward the snow. Mr. Donovan Handley. They Chicago one day I got enough with that. The great DD economic development. Be got doctor Zahazo Adolescent happy or the hello. If I glass and they got, but big at the egg, I feel that I either. Mazeta Tekis, as has Aniki property in Haiton, Nenigi. So $8,000, but Mazeta not forcing done decade on a pace on done decade. I don't get it. It's in our meta. Isi kodo bahos nem kito nedo se ya kodo bahod des ne kodo tine na ipeso ila tine na ipeso kodo ni lela to hat ar se kodo be lahas net all this kodo Mr. Chair. I want to the stay for now kodo aronana kodo LDA but what is sleep and talk about Mr. Chair out of Keda saying Naidi Kidigi obviously. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Shata, Delegate Daniels. Steja Elsie, voornaden, door Steja, you have the floor. Steja Elsie, Small Canyon. You have the floor.
Oh my gosh, I forgot my hat.
Juega, like you're not don't answer it. One more time, Steja Elsie, you have the floor. Tengo go ya questions or comments for Shata report lagi. Council, chapter officials. I don't hear any comments or questions. Let's move down to Shata for your report and Naida Kidat and Lakudo from the audience or chapter official, they don't have any questions. With that, let's move on down to the next item on the agenda is Shama Farmanali, Navajo County District 1 Supervisor. You have the floor.
Do chair do vice chair secretary treasurer present officials, chapter staff, and other chapter officials who are on the line. Thank you this morning for giving me this time on the floor for report. First thing is, just so you all know, Navajo County, based on ARPA funds for the county, infrastructure funds allocated on the 2 chapters in Western Agency and Township were given ARPA grants because they vetted for the funds. So DA unconditionally advocate for yourself, meaning for your chapters and for your area. So I say, good job, Shanto. And then April Bahol chill. Although its Earth Day is this week, not this week, this month. trash, do gloves, do water, ide no ke do ya ba although Navajo County may pay half of your chapter's April trash bin cost. So half of what it's cost, you'll have to send in the documentation and the paperwork. The county wants paperwork with these requests so that we have a paper trail. So it's important that you request these things. Currently, the Navajo County is working on redistricting. I requested a session in Shanto, so that will probably be scheduled on May 11th at 11 a.m. daylight time at the elementary school gym, small gym. I think that's where they hold the elections. I'm not sure. Anyways, there's other ones in Kayenta on May 10th at 6 p.m. And then on May 10th on 6 p.m. Yeah, at Kayenta, and then Pinyon, May 11th at 5 p.m. So there were 14 maps submitted by people to be considered. 3 of them were selected, but there will be 5 maps because we have a redistricting advisory committee, which each supervisor has appointed one of them to the one each to the committee. And they will work on a 4th map, which will try to combine all the other 3 maps and try to figure out how to make all these people who sent in maps happy. The next hybrid meeting will be on May 16th at 3 p.m. and that will have a virtual, of course, and in-person at the Board of Supervisors chambers. So feel free to join. I will send the numbers out, and also feel free to comment as well. Although Arizona counties, Coconino, Apache, and Navajo have participated in transportation and broadband meetings. Some Utah commissioners have joined, although both Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico are invited. The next meeting is in Montezuma Creek, Utah on April 13th. Navajo County Supervisor Lena Fowler and Navajo Nation Council Delegate Key Allen Begay Jr. are spearheading these meetings, just to be informed. And then one of the important items is rural addressing for chapters. Please schedule with MC Baldwin at WIN@nndcd.org for information on training. He's doing all-day training. He can combine chapters together to do training. Rural addressing will be required for broadband, E911, and also future voters registration and elections. Chapter officials, chapter staff, Club C, and form board members should be encouraged to attend. I know that we were going through the pandemic. He did have a 2-hour virtual training. I don't know if that's available anymore. When I had asked him initially to let's go ahead and do these trainings, he had informed me there was a 2-hour one, but please email him to do a meeting, because Arizona laws has passed a lot of, not a lot, but several election laws which are trying to disenfranchise the voters. And it's going to affect us because yesterday, Governor Ducey signed a law requiring voters to show proof of citizenship. And he stated that this will ensure only US citizens vote in Arizona's elections. So there's a lot of, there are several election laws which were passed. So it'll take a lot of time to explain, but there will be education on the new laws by the Navajo County Election Office, who will be coming through to each community. And one of the questions that I've been asked that I need to probably address is, what's your main objective from the Navajo County? Navajo County main objective is to fund the road projects, highway user revenue funds, also known as HER funds, is the county's main funding source to assist the Navajo chapters. With these funds, roads are a priority within Navajo County. The county is tasked with purchasing and providing materials and supplies. The road partnership includes NDOT, BIA, and Navajo County. And of course, the chapter's requests are included. The county needs to go through NDOT for all requests because Navajo Nation is sovereign. I've shared that with my chapters who are within the Navajo County. Please use NDOT form for culvert placements or replacements and minor road projects. Please send Navajo County, which is me and Miles Begay, a copy of the NDOT form. Thank you for advocating for your chapter. And in return, I advocate on behalf of the chapter with the paperwork you share with me. So that's important, sharing that paperwork with me. And if you just send it to Navajo County, it'll circle back to me, but it'll circle the long way. One of the intersections at US 160 and State Route 98 is on my radar right now. It's a business site and housing site prone to accidents. Mr. Willie Gray Eyes has requested intervention on the site. So on the site, please consider a resolution for a roundabout that is being requested both from your chapters and also together with Western Agency Council and NOST, NOST. So, the chapters need to share a resolution, and either one chapter needs to do a primary and the other one needs to do supporting resolutions so that this can move forward. You can send it to me, but you can address it to ADOT. And they are already aware of that. I let Jesse Thompson know, and also one of our advocates through this to the state transportation committee. Although, let me see here, Tapican event, building bridges between generations, is on June 9th and 10th. Navajo County District 1 will host continental breakfast on June 10th at 8 a.m. And then an all-county health day is scheduled for Kayenta on April 19th at 4:30 p.m. This is also sponsored by Navajo County District 1. And then thank you for the time for me to give report and also for receiving my Navajo County report. Thank you very much. Questions? That's that's the end of my report.
Okay, Shamakro report in live to NOST Regional Council for all the 4 chapters.
You're welcome.
Chair, the only question I have is, did it, shouldn't create request you love Mr. Commissioner, Mr. Willie Gray Eyes. Other indicator from the chapter, we've been voicing our concerns about the Highway 98, Highway 160, 98 junction. Khalid, عشان that they Khalid, the snaya and so on says case oyo shana oyo Khalid taildini do in that nether had this snaya and so on says case ma. Charles Chinyal Hashid oyo kajo candidate ajo des inkle oyo tena lots of the case ma. I know you ahead or left Shamat or that Mukhabanat any other for this roundabout. Although quite one time about instead, I think at the time they were talking about it was the size of the area right there. It wasn't big enough to fit a roundabout inside the right of way, quite in front of the Shanto Marketplace and Kuja railroad track. So it don't about don't need that. That's the only item I just want to share that with you, Shema.
I don't know that this was discussed. Maybe it was a meeting I wasn't present at or invited to. I know I missed the NOST meeting last month and Western Agency Council as well because of family issues and what I say is if you give it to me in writing, it will be there in writing. Otherwise, if you just tell me, then really there's nothing that's gonna happen. It's gonna move on. A letter or an email or a resolution is your best bet. I've always been told that if all in doubt, write a resolution. But Willie Gray Eyes did send me a note. However, he said he's still working on other paperwork. So I do appreciate a note, a letter, an email, something that says there's communication between the county and the chapter. However, if you set notices to the state, then it doesn't circle back to me as if you send notes to the county. Thank you.
Here, Shema, hold on, we'll definitely put a resolution together for that. Not only that, but the rule addressing that. We'll contact you on that. Any other question from the council, regional council, chapter officials for Shema Furmanali's report? Then I go, hey, I see we'll move forward quick. I see Shajet, Navajo Nation President Jonathan Nez, I believe he's with us. You have the floor, Mr. President.
Right. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you
Everyone, all right, thanks.
loud and clear.
Thank you, President Otto, officers of the Navajo Mountain, Oljeto, Shanto, and Tapikin region. And this morning Cecilia and I were at the Navajo Nation band rehearsal. So they're starting to get ready for events throughout the Navajo Nation. And of course, we're monitoring all the areas of concern throughout this country, actually all over the world on COVID-19. There is a concern for this new Omicron variant on the East Coast, and we will make sure to give everybody an update on what's going on with the new variant. But today, 75%, 76% of our Navajo people are vaccinated. First and second dose, over 60% have received their third shot. And now we know that the fourth shot is available for those in that vulnerable population category. Being a highly vaccinated region, helps us to push back on COVID-19, but we have lost many of our Navajo citizens. But I commend all our officials and our people in helping each other out throughout this pandemic. Giving out food, giving out supplies, just letting everybody know to follow the protocols that are in place. And the mask mandate is still in effect. We have 2 new public health emergency orders as well that have been issued. We went from 50% capacity or 50% of the people that go into businesses now to 75%. So one business, the casinos, have seen an increase in people coming into their facilities. So we are cognizant of that, but because of our high vaccination rate, I think we will be okay. Of course, we'll monitor it. We are now from orange to yellow status throughout the Navajo Nation. And restaurants, casinos, hotels, museums, marinas and parks, movie theaters, personal care, and other services are now 75% maximum occupancy. Now for gathering, we're still at 25 indoors. We also have reopened the gyms, wellness centers, and recreation facilities, but they're because of exercising in close quarters. We are opening those to start us off at 25% occupancy. And we are also challenging the schools to report to the Health Command Operations Center, or to continue to let Navajo Nation Health Command Operations Center know of their outbreaks, their cases. So the schools are now mandated to continue reporting as before. Otto, we'll send these Health Command Operations Center health orders to you all, And what I'll do here also is, if I can, trying to do two things at the same time here by getting the report into the chat here. For those of you that are on the chat, I'm going to go ahead and put our NOST council report from the Office of the President and Vice President in there. It looks like it's uploading. And also, we took a group of people to Washington, D.C., which include Robert as well, our Navajo Land Commission director, and our veterans executive director, Mr. Jim Zerline. Let me talk about the veterans first. We are in the process of developing our own veterans healthcare hospital closer to Navajo. We are in the process too, as well as acquiring land. If you're familiar with Gallup, the Gamerco area, there's that first intersection. As you go into Gallup, if you go to the east, it takes you to the Gallup Flea Market. And if you go to the west, that's Carbon Coal Road. And what they're trying to do is do a new street that goes to the railroad tracks in on the west side of Gallup, Mitmore, will you? But what they're also doing is they're going to make a back street from that area, if you're familiar with Gamerco area, that goes straight south, that will come out between Walmart in Gallup and Home Depot, if you know that street. So there'll be a back route that way. We're in the process of purchasing 460 acres of land there for projects, economic community development projects. Reason why I bring that out is we would like to put the new Gallup Indian Medical Center there. And also this new veterans hospital, and also a rehab center, and then a nursing home, because 460 plus acres is a lot of land. If we can put much of the healthcare facilities there, we can build economic development around it. Hotels, shops, restaurants. I think that could be a new area for, for people to enjoy themselves in the area, including providing services for our Navajo people. As Vice President says, if you can't beat them, meaning Gallup, you might as well join them, right? Well, all our people, most of the people in that area go to Gallup for services, even though we try to provide services on Navajo. So if they're going to Gallup, then let's develop some projects there to bring in revenue to the nation. So we spoke to our congressional delegation of that veterans healthcare facility. Of course, there'll be a benefits center there too for our veterans. And it wouldn't just be for Navajo veterans, it would be for all veterans in the region. But the Gallup Indian Medical Center, so there are two facilities, Gallup Indian Medical Center and then the VA hospital. The VA hospital will be for everybody. The Gallup Indian Medical Center, of course, is for Native Americans. But that's the price tag for the new GIMC is over $1 million. I'm sorry, $1 billion. And we want to make sure that we put it in a place where it benefits our Native American or Navajo people. The first choice was at Rehoboth, but we're finding out that there's a lot of deficiencies with that area. And for veterans, we are in the process of working with NHA and HUD to develop a veterans housing facility. And that veterans housing facility we're looking at is in Tuba City. I thought the best place would be right there by Dennett College, where the old housing services is, right between NTUA and Dennett College in Tuba City. But there is also another thought of taking it down to Curly Valley, where the old Vans store, what burned down, putting a housing manufacturing facility there. So we can start building houses. As you know, veterans have already their housing trust fund dollars. So housing can start being developed quickly. We're also wanting to open it up to those that want to buy housing. Housing Services has a list. And then some of our Navajo people do have the money to buy a house, and open that up for our Navajo people too. So a lot of projects that doesn't just focus on one group, but also helps out the general population. So that's in terms of veterans. And I believe Robert is on the call as well. He can talk more about the Navajo Hopi or the Navajo Nation technical amendments that we talked to our congressional delegations to approve. The meetings that we've had in Washington, D.C., you know, I'm sure you know me by now, Shanto, and I stack meetings, get the most out of the time wherever I go. On Tuesday, March 29th, we did a congratulations video at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial there in Washington, D.C. It's on our social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, if you want to see it. Maybe you already saw it. Our meetings are detailed in the Twitter account as well. If you want to Google that, Jonathan Nez Twitter page, it'll come up. We had meetings with Senator Mark Kelly. We talked about veterans. We talked about infrastructure, O'Neill, Rosalind So's nomination for the top position for the IHS. You know, we met with Representative Ruben Gallego, Senator John Tester. We're talking about RICA extension. It ends in a couple of months, the RICA. So there's still people that are wanting to get compensated for downwinder and being exposed to uranium. We want to extend it by 2 years. And then we also have an initiative where we want to open it up for other health problems to get compensated as well. Like the post-71 mine workers, they're not in the original RICA for compensation. We want to put it in there. But first, we just wanted to extend it so we can start doing the amendments during the time that it's extended. We're asking for 2 years. We're very close. We got Representative Jordan that's kind of in the way, but we're hopeful that he is on board and we'll get a extension to the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act for the next 2 years. And we brought that up to Senator John Tester because he is on the Senate Committee of Indian Affairs. We also met with Representative Mark Tucano. He's the chairman of the House Committee on Veterans Affairs. He thought it was a great idea to put the new GIMC and the Veterans Hospital kind of in the same area. Got much support from him, so it was great. Representative Ann Kirkpatrick we met with. Just, I know she's not in our district, but she is Arizona delegation. We talked to her about those items. Rika O'Neill, which she is familiar with. Representative John Curtis out of Utah, we met with him. We will be having a public safety summit for the Utah chapters soon with the help of Representative Curtis for that area. We talked about the roads, the infrastructure in the area. There will be a signing ceremony for the Navajo-Utah Water Rights Settlement Act soon with the governor of Utah and Secretary Deb Haaland in Utah, the Navajo area. We're still working out the details. We also met with Senator Ben Ray Lujan, the champion for Rika. We talked about public safety there, the need for a new detention center in Window Rock and Shiprock, and also the Kayenta Courts building. That was Tuesday. So Wednesday, we started our day with a meeting with Representative Tom O'Halloran. We also mentioned the need to give the nation more vouchers for the VASH program for veterans. We only get 20 nationwide and we need more. We also talked about reauthorization of NAHASDA, NHA, of course, more funding, and other items with Tom O'Halloran. Met with Representative Greg Stanton. We appreciate his support for the reauthorization for the Violence Against Women Act, the missing and murdered Indigenous peoples support. He is a champion. We did a filming there in Phoenix one time where he was a part of those discussions. First Lady Cecilia Nez gave her overview of what the nation is doing to address our missing people and what the Navajo Nation is doing. She did have a meeting last Friday here at Twin Arrows regarding developing a plan to address the missing people here on the Navajo Nation. We met with Representative Melanie Stansberry out of New Mexico. We talked about the CARES Act, the ARPA, the infrastructure bill. We thanked her on behalf of the Navajo people for the support to give money to Indian country, including Navajo. We got 714 million in CARES. We got over 2 billion in ARPA. And then now with the infrastructure bill, we're getting ready to apply for funding in various agencies, including transportation. We talked about the need for BIA school replacements on Navajo. Shanto is one of those, and it's moving forward. And other communities to get our schools on the priority listing so that they can be replaced or updated, maybe remodeled, refurbished. As being the biggest nation in the country, there should be more resources going our way. We also met with Senator Martin Heinrich. We talked about the need to appoint an O'Neill commissioner, which has never been put into its position or in place for over 20 years. The O'Neill Commissioner Office of Navajo Hopi Indian Relocation. And we need that person. We did recommend, just as we did recommend Rosalind So for the IHS directorship, we recommended someone for the O'Neill Commission. And so we talked about that. And we also went to the White House. We were invited to the White House. We met with Libby Washburn, Pauly Rivera, and others there. And we brought up of course, thank you to the president for his advocacy, President Biden. We talked about consultation, we talked about infrastructure, and of course, these nominations. And the post office and in Goulding, so Oljeto, if you're listening, that post office replacement, we did bring that up to the White House's attention. And we also mentioned that we need more tribal consultation with the United States Postal Services, tribal consultation. So we are in the process of hopefully replacing that facility in Gouldings. FEMA, we met with the FEMA administrator, Diane Criswell. We talked a lot about the public safety and reimbursements. President Biden extended the reimbursements. It was ending soon. It's going to be another 3 months. So we can get 100% reimbursement that our own monies that we utilize here on Navajo in helping out with this public health emergency. Remember, we sent a letter to the president once he got into office 2 years ago to declare a major disaster declaration for Navajo Nation. And that's what he did. Based on that, 100% of what we use to fight the pandemic resources can fully be reimbursed to the Navajo Nation. So Division of Community Development will be reaching out to you all if you have reimbursements. It would be good for the chapters to submit their reimbursements, general fund dollars. That way you get it back and put back into your budgets. If you need any help, please reach out to the Division of Community Development, Pearl Yellowman, as well as the administrative service centers. We also met, that concluded our day on Wednesday. And on Thursday, we met with Chairman Rahul Grijalva, who is the House Committee on Natural Resources chair, talking about the climate change. Little do people know that the water rights, we entered into water rights for the Navajo Utah area, the Navajo Utah Water Rights Settlement Act, and also the Navajo Gallup Water Supply Projects. Those were approved. So there's water rights available. So we're saying to the Interior as well as Congress, they need to let Navajo know if there are any waters being let out of our reservoirs. Last year, the Bureau of Reclamation didn't even tell us that they were releasing some of the water from Navajo Dam to go into Lake Powell, because Lake Powell is at its ultimate low, including Lake Mead. We all know that there's a drought in the Southwest, and so they don't want the hydroelectric plant at Glen Canyon to not be in operation. But at the same time, we're saying to the feds, you need to let us know, because you made promises that we're going to be getting water rights for these agreements. And we don't want it to be, again, another broken promises to our Navajo people. And then we met with Secretary Deb Haaland. Same thing I said to Chairman Grijalva, I said to Deb Haaland. First Lady Cecilia Nez did give Deb an update on the missing persons initiative, the work that she's doing on behalf of the Navajo people there as well. We talked about the quadrilateral agreement briefly, the need for mid-channel, but the drought always comes up, that's going to be something that we have to contend with, is the water level going down in Lake Powell. But our stance has been mid-channel belongs south belongs to the Navajo people, not the shoreline, not at a certain elevation. And she took that, I guess, under advisement. We also met with Representative Debbie Lesko. I did tell her about the Arizona water rights, the need for the Colorado River, the Little Colorado River settlement to move forward. Tom Brzezowski, who is the Arizona Department of Water Resources Director, gave Navajo a counter proposal. You know, we've been working on this settlement for years, and then at the 11th hour of this administration, the Ducey administration, because this is their last year, gave us a proposal that wasn't even, I wouldn't even give it to the council. It was just so disrespectful, I called it. And we walked out, Hopi and Navajo walked out of those discussions, and we're back to litigation. And I did let Debbie Lesko know that we weren't, she is the Arizona representative that has the ear of the governor, to let him know that we want to go back to the first settlement negotiations, not the new one by Tom Brzezowski. So hopefully they come around, or else we just litigate it. And it'll be years before we even get that decision for water rights. And it's difficult too, as we're going through a drought, that you know, we don't have a good support for it, because everybody's in need of water in the Southwest. But we're going to do our very best to fight for our fair share of water in the Colorado main stem and the Little Colorado River. And then we had a meeting with Representative Yvette Harrell. We talked about Eureka drought and the uranium cleanup. And she's a New Mexico representative. We're going to be having a hearing with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, NRC, in Church Rock, where that spill happened. Remember that spill that went into the river there, and the cleanup is happening. So what NRC is saying, that yes, they'll clean up the waste and take it somewhere, which is what we want, Navajo. But what we're finding out is they're just moving it about a mile away to off the Navajo Nation, and burying it over there. And we're like, hey, we want it far away from here. And they're saying, well, it's not on the Navajo Nation, but it's still adjacent to the community. So that NRC meeting should be good for the community, to let them know that we don't want that uranium to be removed and put somewhere else close to that community, the Redwater Pond community. And so we're also going to be letting them know that there are over 500 open uranium mines throughout the Navajo Nation, including Ojeto, Navajo Mountain, all in that area, that needs to be cleaned up as well. So that's going to be something that Yvette Harrell, our representative, will be attending in Gallup or in Church Rock. And our last meeting on Thursday was with Secretary Pete Buttigieg, the U.S. Department of Transportation, and letting him know. Little do people know too that we sent a white paper to the federal government. We outlined many barriers to getting roads built, the environmental clearances, the right-of-way, all these hoops we have to jump through. And we said that these policies and regulations need to be changed up there in DC, so that we can improve our transportation route, categorical exclusions for routes all in the area, not just one route at a time. But in the infrastructure bill, they use some of our white paper language in the new bill that not many people know, that Navajo was instrumental in putting that those regulation change into the infrastructure bill. And so now we're beginning to start streamlining the process for road repair, road construction. And we also mentioned to him the need for the formula to be updated. Right now, in the transportation formula, Oklahoma tribes get the most money for construction of tribal transportation dollars. Navajo, because we only include our Navajo and our BIA routes. Oklahoma, they include their county and their state routes. And that's unfair. We just told them we already have a formula that federal government has done these past couple of years based on the size of the tribe, 27,000 square miles of Navajo, the enrollment, we are at 403,000 Navajos enrolled, and the people who work on the Navajo Nation. That's what got the Navajo Nation the biggest share of the pot for CARES Act and ARPA. We got the most than any tribe out there based on those three criterias. And we told Pete Buttigieg it should be the same way so that we can get more dollars to build and repair our roads on Navajo. And we also told him too that we want to 638 the BIA maintenance program. Right now, the BIA does all the maintenance. And you know how long that takes at times. We want to be able to supplement that and do maintenance, restriping, fixing the culverts, repairing potholes, so that we can get out there and do more of that rather than waiting for the BIA and the solicitor, their attorneys, to say it's okay to repair those roads. Gravel pits was another one. I know it wasn't under his authority, but we did tell him that the mining laws need to be changed, updated. We have to bring in all the gravel and all the dirt from off the Navajo Nation to build roads. Right now, it takes about $3.5 million to pave 1 mile of road, because most of the cost is bringing that material off the nation in. When you could develop a burrow pit or a gravel pit right next to the road project, that would pave more of the roads at a lesser cost. And so he's going to work with Mitch Landrieu, who is overseeing the infrastructure office in Washington, D.C. He was the mayor of, I want to say, New Orleans, maybe. I forget, but he was a mayor now. President Biden appointed him to oversee the infrastructure. And we did meet with him before, and he was excited about helping us streamline a lot of the regulations and policies and even the laws to make these projects get done quicker. So that was our trip. I know a lot of it was what we've been working on all along for the past 4 years. You know, I know that people are going to start saying, well, there's nothing has been done for this administration. I say we saved lives. We focused on COVID-19 for 2 years. A lot of things were put on hold, even the federal government. Our intention was to save as many lives as we can throughout this pandemic. Now, as we move out of COVID, hopefully we're praying we're getting back to some of the priority projects, but we have been moving a lot of those projects forward throughout this time. We need to get an infrastructure bill approved, guys. I need your help. This equal distribution between chapters is not going to work. That's going back to the old discretionary fund era. And remember what happened, no accountability. The proposal that was established, they're saying, well, that's a Nez Leiser project listing. It's not. We've been meeting with the council all year last year. I don't know, maybe they forgot their recommendations. We packaged all that up. And what they're saying is equal distribution. What we did was we developed a proposal that would help the most needy individual in the most rural parts, just like NOST. And if you go to equal distribution, and I appreciate Mainali voting no on that amendment to say equal distribution, because NOS will lose money because of the equal distribution. Their water lines and electric lines, home construction, broadband telecommunication that is needed in our area. And we develop our project listing needs-based. So rural communities will get the assistance. You know, you have delegates like Herman here, Mainelli has 4 chapters. Some have 8 chapters. Some delegates have 1 chapter, 2 chapters. And it's not fair. And I did send my thoughts about that proposal. And I'm not in support of equal distribution. And I need council to understand that the proposal that we all worked on, the whole council, the executive branch, that's the list that will help the most people. I mean, there's a lot more needs than $2 billion, right? We all know that. But this is going to help our Navajo people get water, electricity, broadband telecommunication, and infrastructure in our communities. So I really need your help to, I mean, Herman's already on board. Thank you, Shanella, Herman Daniels. But I need you all to send letters to the council and let them know that the original proposal that Speaker Damon introduced is the legislation we want. We do not want equal distribution. And I'm afraid that we'll revert funding if we go equal distribution. We only have 2 years left already. We're ready to start our construction projects. We're just waiting on the council to approve the ARPA bill. And now it's kind of going into a different direction. I don't know if they'll be meeting on Monday. I heard that they had only 10 signatures on the petition to hold a special session. They don't have enough thus far, but they have until Sunday to get signatures. But what they can do is delete the amendment that took place at the Nabikia Committee, which would reset us back to the original proposal if they delete that amendment and then pass the bill. And then we're ready to rock and roll and put our signature on it and get construction going. NTUA and NECA are waiting, and it's already, that means construction season is now before us, and we need that. So I'll end with that. I know it's probably took too much time. I appreciate Roland for giving me the opportunity to update you all on what we've been doing. I know that we don't do these update meetings because we're always cut off, right? At agency council, they tell you 20 minutes or 10 minutes. I appreciate giving me more time today. And if you need more updates, everyone that's on the call, please visit our social media page, our Facebook, Twitter, if you got it. And you can just Google it and they'll allow you to get in. You don't have to have an account. And they'll give you more of our updates on a daily basis that we've been doing. There's a lot more that our administration has been tackling. And I want to just say thank you to Robert Black. I know he has dual roles, but he's doing a great job, including all our division directors. And those council delegates, 9 of them voted no on that amendment. And Herman Daniel is one of them. He's voting no on equal distribution. And I appreciate those 9. If those 9 can stay together, I think they can take that amendment off and go back to the original bill, and that will help a lot of people, especially in the NOST area. So thank you so much. That'll end my report.
Okay. Here, Shajed, President Nez, for your report. We all know that you're busy. I don't know so that is kado. Tharna hodo nagalnas teo don hat kado nahat nahi he ado I'm sure the NOST region thought I'd answer that case. Yeah, the biggest, the ARPA, no, behind any of that is the biggest, because the oyo tanit echalit at skan, just dot atanitsen. I'm sure all the NOST chapters are planning and we're just ready. Although Shazaya could mention in law with Navajo Hopi Land Commission. It has a Kadota Hitna Hadodle, Shazaya Robert. He might be in between. I know he's on his way somewhere in.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh, Hoditsa.
Ashade Hadita.
Oh,
Okay. Good morning,
I
everyone.
thought Robert overslept because of the long Washington DC trip that we had. I think Robert recognized how I do things. It's like meetings after meetings after meetings. By the way, everyone, I put the council report on the chat, and if those of you that are on telephone, if you can ask some of the folks that
We're
are
an hour
on
and 46 minutes away from
Denver.
Denver.
Well, let me finish here first.
So 2 hours.
The NOS report you can print out. So anyway, go ahead, Robert. Robert, you're on the speaker. Go ahead.
this is it. Robert, you have the floor.
Can you hear me?
Oh, Hoditsa.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I have my phone Bluetooth on the truck, and I was inside a store, and when I got close to the truck, it cut me off and went to the truck. So I apologize for that. I just kind of heard part of what the president was saying. So, but for the Land Commission office, for my role as far as accompanying the president to Washington was to promote the technical amendments bill that was introduced by Representative Tabo Halloran. So, and one of the big things that we got out of there was working with Congressman Raul Grijalva is to work on a field hearing. And I think that was big because we've been asking for that for a while now. And a lot of it hasn't been, I guess, taken up by any congressman as of I guess last week. And I commend Representative Grijalva to take that step for us so that we could get the congressional folks out here to hear the stories from our people out here in the field. And I think that was big. And I think that's what we were asking for the last 2 or 3 years that we've been there. And then also, secondly, advocating for an appointment of a commissioner for the ONER office. We stress the importance of it and how that will, we think, will create a better understanding of our needs of our people, and to be better heard instead of a regular employee of the government. And I think that was pretty well accepted by the representatives that were listening to us. And then also the other things involved here is the mention of the issues that we're facing in the Bennett Freeze region, along with the uranium spill and the minings that were not handled correctly and closing them, and they're still open and stuff like that with the RECA legislation. I think we made the important thing known that a lot of the areas that they're talking about is in the Bennett Freeze region. So I think we relate that, and then the need for infrastructure development in the region, including economic activity, and then also housing, which has always been the biggest issue for me. So I instructed or I just kind of relate my position that if the technical amendments should get approved, it's going to have me the ability to work with the near office to more effectively or efficiently address the issues that are facing our people in the region. So it is the most important thing. And then we also heard that we had some oppositions from the Hopis as far as the technical amendments being passed. But the president met with the chairman from the Hopi tribe, and they expressed what we want, and they expressed what they want. And I think they're going to have future meetings on it to make sure that the Hopis are not being in the way to get our technical amendments passed. So I think that was a positive outcome on that one. So what's going on in a nutshell, including all the president, what he talked about. I mean, it's pretty extensive, and what happened in 3 days, and it was like go from 8 to 7 o'clock each day for 3 days. So, and we were even going without lunch sometimes, and we were kind of looking at each other and say, "Hey, President, when do we eat?" And the President would look back at us, and we don't eat when we come here. We go to work. so. But it's all good, and the way our president represents us over there, and the way he delivers the message to the people, so that they understand, and then the importance of how these key issues that we bring to them are being comprehended. So, Chair, thank you. Am I still on the call?
Cool. Yes, Jeff, for your report. And President Nezot, I want to open the floor for questions to chapter officials, NOST Regional Council. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, Roland.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Mr. President, you have the floor.
President of Ojeto chapter would like to say shout out to Mr. Nez for looking into our post office. And no, I don't share and they had gone had in yala. I thought so. It did get shared addition. I don't know gravel pit in the middle. We had a big question on that because in the pipe farms, gravel pit. I didn't know about it. So, I don't have answered. When I can't know that, I don't allow my lessons. When I can't know. It is what it is. Shared the shit out there.
Thank you, President Begay. Any other questions, comments from chapter officials? I hear some, I see phone numbers, but we haven't tied the names to it. So then if there's no other questions or comments, I'd like to move on to, I heard I got a text message saying that there's a representative from the speaker's office. Could I like to give the floor to them? I think Miss Melinda Arvizo Siaco, are you on the line with us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, ma'am.
Hi, good morning. Donana, everyone today on the call. Thank you for opening the floor for us this morning. Sheya Melinda Arbiso Siaku Yanchgedo Tanajanin Strongki Ani Bashishin Twitchini Dashachedo Dashini Dashanella, Legislative Staff Assistant for the Office of the Speaker in Windrock, Arizona. And just wanted to say thank you for having us on the call. Just some quick update from the Speaker's office that we have been working on our end. Kujit Beshbahasa Ana Dan Linigi and Dajnish that Enigi this coming Monday there will be a potential Navajo Nation special council session. It is going to be covering the most recent activities around legislation 257-21. Everyone's aware in terms of the American Rescue Plan Act that was recently passed. And so potentially for Monday. So right now there are signatures that are being circulated for that meeting on Monday. And so just to give a quick breakdown on the recent activities through the Nabkiyat Committee that convened last week, Wednesday and Thursday, and late and in that they did go over a couple of amendments to the legislation. They ended up passing an amendment that would reallocate distribution to the 24 legislative districts. And so specifically to Delegate Herman Daniels' area, just to state that the original legislation had Delegate Daniels Jr.'s allocation at 17,929,728. Although the amendment that was proposed by Delegate Amber Crotty increased the funding amount for Delegate Daniels, which now potentially stands at a higher rate. Increase proposed went to the base amount of $26,666,058. And so there is opportunity in terms of the amendment that was proposed. And so this also includes other areas that were added on as well for Department of Health for continuing to assist in COVID-19 effects on the nation, as well as public safety and other areas. Amendment number 2, so just to give that quick recap in terms of Delegate Daniels' area and funding amounts and some of the proposals that have currently been developing and so just a quick update from the Speaker's office and some of the areas that have been looked into and providing information to districts. So if there are any questions, please let me know. But just in terms of Honorable Daniels Jr.'s area and funding allocation potentially for legislation 257-21 for giving us some time and inviting us to this call. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your report, Ms. Siako. Any questions, Shanat, on the chapter officials from NOST Regional Council? I hear none. Thank you, Ms. Yako, for your time to do your report. I've seen Mr. Speaker at Twin Arrows. He's a busy man as well. And we keep him in our prayers and all the decision that needs to be made for the local people. Thank you. And now going down to the agenda, going to letter F, Miss Lena Fowler. We had a representative, I forgot her name. Are you online with us?
Yes, this is Miranda Morales. I am the district director for Coconino County Supervisor Lena Feller. I would actually like to just reserve my time for when I'm presenting. Supervisor Feller is in a county board of supervisors retreat right now, and so she's giving her little presentation. But hopefully, if we can give her a few minutes, she can also join me on my presentation and add in anything that she wanted to do an update with. But she also wanted me to announce that she has been communicating with Navajo Nazis On chapter and plans to attend their meeting and also do an update there. So I just would like to just wait till the presentation to further speak. So thank you.
Okay. Well, so in about 15 or 10 or 15 minutes, Supervisor Shamalina Fowler will be joining us. But yes, well, we're waiting for Miss Supervisor Lena Fowler. I'd like to go back and give the floor to Delegate Daniels, LDA, LC Small Canyon. You have the floor.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Sorry I had stepped away earlier, but I hope everyone's well and happy first couple of days of April to everyone. And hopefully spring is here now. So anyways, yat ena hidedeshni she LC Small Canyon shedo torjini shlon look at nebashis chin ado kazlane dash she she dash nala and shantoda yisinasha. And I just want to say thank you, Chair, for giving me this time to give a brief report here. I see a lot of the chapter officials on here, as well as, Navajo Nation President Jonathan Nez, Navajo County Supervisor Fern Benali, so since the last NOST regional meeting of March 6th, I think the decision was made by everyone to go ahead and start with a different time frame so that this meeting takes place prior to other important quarterly meetings. And I just want to say, I really appreciate Delegate Daniels, taking time out to answer my questions and stuff like that. Anytime I'm not able to answer a question right away at some of the meetings that I've attended on his behalf, it's just been really a great working relationship. And although, he's extremely busy, it's really admirable. So since the last meeting, we've, attended chapter meetings, either planning, regular meetings, or leadership meetings. And I think, with a leadership meeting, that's added an extra, 3 to the month. But, it's beneficial just for the fact that, everyone is on the same page. and, moving forward with a lot of projects and, what the next steps are going to be. And Mahajan, it's great. That's really great planning. And other meetings we've attended are like planning and zoning and club C meetings. It's I just want to commend, the 4 chapters. It's wonderful to see this collaboration and partnership among the, the groups, and just working together for the community. That's basically the goal, is that we have to set our differences aside. The statement, agree to disagree. I think that's, a good way of putting stuff, although, something might not go our way, it's something always good for the community that we're trying to plan for. We've also attended a couple of work sessions last month. Oljeto first, taking place on March 17th and the 18th. And, there were some really good presenters, and, just being able to see this particular chapter working together. Like I said, it's always great to see that. Ado Shanto had their work session also March 23rd and 24th. It's sort of fast paced now, trying to meet deadlines and, making use of everything that's available right now, although it's limited. But, like I said, these particular chapters have goals and plans that they're really pushing forward. And, having that collaboration meeting with Epikin too, that was always great to see. It's always interesting to hear what similar plans there are out there. And I just also want to give a shout out to that's Epikin manager again, Earl Sombrero. We also, mentioned that he had accomplished his 10 years work anniversary with Epikin officially on March 25th. So, it's wonderful to see, a strong advocate for their community, and being able to still, face a lot of adversities and, negativity, with a smile. And I really admire his strong character for that. Then the other thing that we also really got on board with is the former Lake Powell Black Mesa Railway, and including the NGS assets meeting. I've assisted Delegate Daniels with requesting a meeting with JT Willie and DED, and we had a lot of information that was passed back and forth. And this is just kind of like the starting point to kind of see what possibilities there are, something that we're able to eventually take back to our local community, and kind of provide some ideas. I know some people had mentioned, why aren't the community members involved with this particular meeting? It's first of all, to kind of lay down the groundwork is what the intent was. And then, that way officials and chapter administration are better able to provide answers to the community. You're able to provide information readily, rather than standing there and saying, Hola, I don't know anything about this, or stuff like that. So eventually, these meetings will get down to the community level, and, feedback will be provided. The next meeting on that particular subject is going to be on April 20th. Call issuing, a lot of the details are going to be brought forth again regarding that. And I do appreciate, JT Willie and DED taking part, facilitating that meeting. I know just other meetings that I've also listened and on, just to kind of get more information as to what is being discussed, the viewpoints of, the different delegates that are involved on these committees, AARDC, NABI, Law and Order Committee, HES committees. You're able to clearly hear, the updated reports and, the viewpoints, like I said, of these particular delegates. That was pretty much for March. Always meeting every day, like I said. Then coming up on April, I did forward the updated RDC calendar to the NOST chapters, to kind of let them foresee, what upcoming meetings are scheduled. It's always subject to change, but at least you guys have something to look at and see what is available for the month. Ada, the Tole task force meeting, I believe that was originally scheduled the first few days of April, but that got rescheduled to April 8th. That's the former quadrilateral agreement subject. And the NOST chapters has a stake in this. And at the last meeting, we did mention that, to make sure that these chapters are, included and have a seat at the table during these particular discussions. Adult, as you can probably see on the calendar that was forwarded to you all, the Navajo Nation Council Spring Session is coming up on April 18th to the 22nd for that week. But as most of you do know, the winter session ended a day early. So who knows with this one. But it's always interesting to hear all the various reports that are provided by each department. And, that's something to keep updated on. And then finally, there's the Navajo Nation Economic Summit that's going to be taking place as well, April 18th to the 21st. So, and I know after speaking with some individuals, they did register for that particular summit. And I believe it's a hybrid session. So I was able to also register for that and, hopefully, hear some more interesting information regarding from that particular summit. Then other things we've done was, I've assisted with drafting agendas for meetings, also letters of recommendation for community members. That's how we helped out with some individuals. Other than that, that's my brief report to the group here. And I do appreciate you giving me the time to do this. And again, I apologize as I stepped away earlier, and I know I could hear Chair calling my name, but I was trying to get back into the other room. But in any case, I wish you all a good day, and that will be it. Turn it back over to you, Chair. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions, chapter officials for Delegate Daniels LDA? Although if there's none, we have two phone numbers that we can't identify. Please identify yourself. There's one phone number with 2955, the last four numbers, and then there's another one, 2303. Yeah, the reason why I'm asking is we like to maintain quorum, and if we can't identify you, then there's no way we can tell.
Hi, Chair.
Yes.
I believe 2955 is registered to me, Shanna Yazi, with the Navajo Water Project. I'm just listening in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Then the other one is 2303, the last four numbers. Can you please identify yourself?
Can you hear me, Roland? It's me, Brittany.
Okay. Oh, yes, we can hear you, Shemayaj. Thank you. For all the reports, I'm not sure if Miss Morales, I don't know if you're ready. for your presentation? If not, then you're Ms. Morales, are you ready for your report?
I apologize. This is Alicia Chi, Council Dallas.
Okay, yes, Ms. Chi.
It's not stable, so I may be cutting in and out, and I apologize. But I'm trying to reach Ms. Morales for you. So give me a second here.
Okay. So are you a part of the presentation too?
Working with Delegate Herman Daniels chapters. So I was just part of the correspondence. And it is a good presentation though. So I am hoping she can present it. Let me try and reach her again.
Okay. Because I'm looking at our resolution and I mean, our agenda. I really don't have anything except me on the next item, on item 10. So before I proceed with the agenda, I'd like to make sure that the presenters are ready. Mr. Ashatat Dillard, do we still have quorum?
Right now, yes.
Okay.
We still have quorum.
Thank you. Yeah, while we're waiting, maybe I'll jump down to my, I'll come back to them for their presentation. I'll jump down to my, where were we? The next item on the agenda is number 8, reports of from regional chapters. We'll come back to you, Ms. Morales, when you're ready. We'll start with number 8, letter A, Patricia Blackhorn. That's us on it, President. Do you have any? Do you have a report? That's us. Madam President, are you on the line with us? If not, then I'll go down to Oljet Toret, President Lenny, Mr. Willis Begay.
Oh, yeah, there, Roland.
So,
Right now, I don't have anything, so I'll go ahead and pass it.
okay. Next item on the agenda, that's me, letter C. Shade, my report is strategic work session by CK at 20 was March 23rd and 24th. Our chapter officials were there, and we had spent 2 days there going through mainly our certified chapters, going through reviewing some of the items that we had questions on with DOJ, Roderick Begay, Land Department, Mr. Halona, and then JT Willie though, mainly pertaining to the NGS Railroad. Although he plans how long for that railroad, so he's NOST that that economic development just Tony Perry though Elaine Young just angels NOST ne although Dr. Shabala Hayfields that Yanasna a Winslow there's a potential site no just a Yanasna although of course soil it's real hard and it's going to require a lot of fertilizers no although there was another site at Heart Rock or yeah Haleho again not Heart Rock Rocky Ridge Ajilot Yanasna it water get dot section no yeah MPL it'll be inside MPL although the other one was at Shanto the hay farm dot bandit a so we're talking with the grazing permittee from that area. Although the other item on the agenda was that Assist International at Shanto, our public watering point. The main tank, the main water tank, it had a pinhole leak. So could that is just sculpture na hello. Yeah, on it. So it repairing the yitlaro. They also added a new 2,500 gallon plastic tank. That is just what I was in the shadow it in had just water tank installed the this Assist International Yegi was President Nez about a year ago that's on the other age although we started working with them although community gardens though the Kiantaj meeting by us that's they're also part of that Assist International. There's other groups I don't remember all of them, but they were there. So then Hotzajdo Community Garden there's another one in Rock Point though Kiantegido. So a lot of potentials. They're bringing back the farming, which is good. But some with all your chapters, there's a lot of cornfields up in the Nazna. So there's this group of people. They're out there to help the chapters, the communities. So, they've been. I went to the workshop in Kianta. They talked about how to identify soil out of water, out of different type of farming. All this information is available from them. They have their own group and they have a website where they can show the community how to farm. The next item I have is those. I know most of the chapter in NOST region they got their equipment, heavy equipment from RDC but the only issue we have is to get it out there in the field and actually start working. And we have in NOST region we have certified chapters, not two non-certified chapters. So the budgets that we get from the Navajo Nation, it's funneled the funds that edit you can look at them in the wind system. To have it out there and just to put fuel in it. And those of you that are real familiar with your chapter, the chapter funds, to identify like diesel fuel be how come. Although the justification, that how are you going to justify it to the chapter, how the money was spent? Joy Quagin Ananat Edashanat to avoid audits and to stay in good compliance. At our chapter, how are we going to do this? And the operator don't know. And then of course, operator alone, you have to pay him at all qualifications on certification for the operator. So these are some of the things we're dealing with. I'm sure all of you are like that, secretary, treasurers, and all the officials. Those of you that are involved with your chapter, just to get it out there and to utilize the equipment, it's you have to really watch how you're going to spend your funds. The stipulation for the funds, that if we can get those change at the delegate level, man, that'll be awesome to help the local chapters. If we do this, it's going to help the 110 chapters, all the 110 chapters on the reservation. I thought I'd bring that to your attention, Shanat Ani. Cool. That'll be the extent of my report. Any questions or comments on my report? I'll type something up, Shatat, Secretary, Mr. Curley.
Chair,
I'll email it to you.
Thank you.
Did I hear?
Chair, yes, Chair, this is Darlene. I'm sorry.
Okay, Shmaya, you have the floor.
Okay, I don't have a question for you. However, could we do a roll call again just to check and see if we still have a full quorum? Thank you.
Okay, so there's no questions or comments at this time. There's a question on the floor. Mr. Curley, do we still have a quorum?
As of right now, it looks like we only have 10, so no.
10. Okay, we need. Does that include Ms. Brittany Hunt?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, can you do roll calls?
Yes, sure can. Honorable Delegate Herman Daniels.
Present.
Thank you. Patricia Blackhorn. Darlene Pino.
Present.
Thank you. Ella Badani.
Present.
Thank you. Russell Small Canyon. Moving on to Ojeto chapter, Willis Begay.
Here.
Thank you. Jean Holiday.
Present.
Thank you. Marietta Bedoni. Benedict Daniels. Moving on to Shanto, Roland Small Canyon.
Here.
Thank you. Marsha Gray Eyes.
Here.
Thank you. Robert Black.
I'm still here. Okay.
Thank you. Brittany Hunt.
Present.
Thank you. Moving on to Tapikin chapter, Geraldine Chi.
Here.
Thank you. Chancey Noticing. Myself, I am present. Happy JB Gay. That chair, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11.
Okay. Thank you. That constitutes a quorum. Yeah, Mr. Curley, for your roll call. I call the next item on the agenda is Shante Geraldine Chi. You have the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for giving me the floor, Chair. My report is not so big. As all chapters are, we're all working and getting back into full swing, some of them. We are working on all the projects all at once sometimes. Earl, our chapter manager, is sometimes got a lot on his hands, but I'm amazed at how he can do multitasking and be on top of everything in spite of everything that's going on. Our project, we got some funds that was given into the account. The money came to the account, so we were able to pay our the person or the company that's supposed to do the house wiring and all that. So we had a meeting with him, and then the project got on its way finally after a very, very long period of time of waiting for it. Of course, our constituents, the people that are on that project, are happy and I think relieved at most, because it's some that they have been waiting for. Chapter manager Earl, now it's come to fruition. So now that we have happy clients on that in the project. Although like Elsie had reported earlier, we have been meeting up with Shanto and us as certified chapters to talk about issues and concerns, and looking at how certified chapters are being looked at. So we're discussing those kind of things, making it what certified chapters are supposed to be, what's intention for it. Its intention for it, what was intended for certified chapters, how to operate. We want to make that a success, to be a self-governed, making money for our constituents or for our communities out here, and being able to talk with one another about other projects that we can put forth and work on together. We have our planning meeting scheduled on Monday. All the information is there. The agenda had already been posted on the community bulletin outside the chapter. It was also posted on our chapter website, and then Bellert, I think, posted it on the TBK chapter forum, I think it is. And I'm gonna go ahead and post it on Facebook under Apikin Community Bulletin. So a Monday go, and then the following Monday we have our chapter meeting. There are things that are coming up, meetings that are scheduled. One is like with NDOT, which I think all of you were invited to join. And then next Wednesday is also, we were asked to be present at the discussions for 638 for Kienta Service Unit. Kienta, the clinic or the hospital for service units, which we are a part of, to come to the table to discuss 638 for it. Although there there's just community, I think are just kind of antsy to get out there and do business as usual again. We do have people that we have lost, like our president, Jonathan Nez had said, in our community, we've lost some of our elderlies, and not only due to COVID, but just to general health or just getting old. So we take into consider our community members and we grieve with them. We pray for them. We pray that everyone is safe. And so chapter and that's all I have to report on. Chair.
Okay, Shadat, for your report. Any questions for Madam President from NOST, Tsabikin? Hear none. So for reports for NOST regional chapter presidents, there's the next item on the agenda is number 9, presentation. Presenter, Coconino County Supervisor Redistricting Plan presentation. Ms. Miranda Morales, you have the floor.
Good morning. Thank you, President Small Canyon. Again, my name is Miranda Morales, and I work with Coconino County Supervisor Lena Fowler, and my clients are Hashka Hadzohe Nishlin, Kisani Bearstrap Bushichin, Na Kedene Deshiche, Na Ketpaha Deshinella, Mahut Ego Astonishla. And I am from the community of Cameron as well. And so Supervisor Fowler and I have been a team together for the last 8 years. September would be our 9th year. And I did reach out to her and I did speak to her momentarily. So I had missed my time to come up, but they're in deep discussions in her board retreat and she's unable to join us right now. So she told me to go ahead and put on her hat and to give our update and to also briefly talk about redistricting. She had also mentioned that she had spoke to the NOST Council last month as well on the same subject. And we're basically meeting with all of our chapters in Coconino County to discuss our maps and to encourage everyone to do a public input. And I'm going to share my screen here. We are approaching our deadline where the board needs to make a decision. And so I think you can see I have our virtual sessions. We're no longer doing virtual sessions. We had our 4th and final one on March 29th. Now it's just receiving public input at our email address, which is redistricting@coconinocounty.az.gov. We also have a website on our coconinocounty.gov website where you can view all the maps and get all the statistics. And we also plan to, we have already started handing out several of these maps to our chapters. Next week, Lena's going to be handing out the remaining ones. So we've been kind of just tag teaming this redistricting topic here. I'm going to also show you now what our current map looks like. And I apologize for those that are on the phone that can't see this, but I will share our maps with you by email. So this gold color, Lena calls it the Cutadine color. is currently what District 5 looks like. We reach up to the Utah border. We have 7 Navajo communities. We have the city of Page, the town of Fredonia, and the north rim of the Grand Canyon. And that's our current map here. And so the board has, like Supervisor Benali said, there were several maps that was introduced to the board. They cut it down to the 4. And so if we stroll down here, we have scenario C, we have scenario D2, and then scenario D1, and then we have a map called scenario E, and then a scenario F. And so this is just kind of looking about how these maps are going to change. The reason why they're changing is and the county is redrawing our supervisory district lines is because we had some population loss in our district, and some of those contribution to the loss of population was due to the closure of NGS, or the shutdown of NGS, the closure of Peabody Coal Mine, and employment opportunities decreasing in the area. So District 5 has to pick up population somewhere. We experienced a loss. So as you can see in this scenario, C2, they kind of had to equal it out. And so one of the things that we give up in scenario C is District 5 wouldn't include Navajo Mountain or Inscription House. That would now be in District 4. And then we would pick up Cameron, a community in North Flagstaff called Fernwood, and then the Grand Canyon Village of the South Rim. And so those would where we would pick up our other population, and then District 4 would grow, and they would have Navajo Mountain, Inscription House, and then they would have Tunalia Coal Mine, all the way down to what they call Happy Jack. So it's right on the border, I think, of the Mongolian Rim right there. And then other districts changed too, like district number 2. It was more centralized in Flagstaff. Now it becomes more rural, and it takes up a lot of forest land there. And then District 1 and District 2 or District 3 kind of almost stay the same, but there's a little changes here and there. So as we go through the maps, you can just see the changes. But most importantly, when you're viewing these things, Supervisor Fowler wanted me to point out is this map that we choose is going to be the map for the next 10 years. And so we really need to not take it personally. We would hope that Supervisor Fowler would be in the office for next 10 years, but that might not be likely. And we need to not be personable about this, but really think about our representation. And I just wanted to show you these demographics for each scenario. They're done by population, then they're done by voting population, and then they're done by party affiliation. So it's also showing you how many Democrats, Republicans, and others are in each district. And so that also plays a factor into deciding which map is which map to consider. And so when you decide on a map, we encourage you to submit a comment to the clerk of the board and to the county to show your support about which map you would like to see approved. And what they do is at their meeting on April 12th, they'll have a board meeting, they'll discuss it, they'll review all the comments that have been coming in and make a decision and vote on which map to proceed with. So this is why we are really trying hard for our Navajo communities to voice their input. We've been hearing a lot from the Grand Canyon, Tucson, Williams, and Flagstaff, but we haven't really heard anything from our northern districts. So we would like to encourage you all today to take a look at this and to see which map would you likely to consider. And as you can see here in D1, this black line, it's a dark bold line, that shows you what the district is currently at, and then what the changes are going to be. So if you can see in D1, the only change here really is we wouldn't have Grand Canyon Village. That would remain in District 1, and it wouldn't go into District 5. And so what we come into is community of interest. Each community say that they should be clumped together because they rely on partnerships or their neighboring communities for decision-making, local decision-making. There's also some comments that come in that say that they would like to keep the precincts together. For an example, if you look here at 52 Fernwood, their community interest is in Donny Park, which is in 92 and 69. They share a fire district, and so they would like to have one county representative in that area because of the fire district. But then there's also comments that saying that, you know, it would be nice to have 2 supervisors that would represent the community of interest, because an example would be the Schultz flood and fire. They had 2 advocates helping them for federal funding when our Mount Eldon caught fire and then eventually flooded. And so those are just some of the things to think about when you're making these types of decisions. And then I wanted to also just show you map E here real quick. Map E would keep all the communities in District 5 that we originally have. So it'd keep Navajo Mountain and Inscription House. And then it would just add the Grand Canyon Village and then the Cameron Wapaki area, as you can see in 43. And this is a map that Supervisor Fowler is leaning towards. She's really trying to advocate for map E, just to let you know. She's very vocal about that and has been sharing that with all of our communities. And so this is just something that we wanted to present with you. And then one more map here is map F. And that is basically going back to losing Navajo Mountain and Inscription House, and also Grand Canyon Village, and then just keeping Cameron and Fredonia. And the reason why we are really not totally against, but not really in favor of map F is, as you can see in Flagstaff, this teal color, this is District 2. It keeps District 2 in the city, and it doesn't keep it into the rural areas. So the county actually has to represent a lot of our rural areas, whereas in District E, District 2 in this teal color expands out and has more rural area representation. So every supervisor would represent a rural area. So that's another reason why supervisor likes map E instead of F. So I just wanted to present that to you today to see if you have any questions. And then again, as I stated earlier before, Supervisor Fowler is meeting with NOST's on chapter, I believe next week in person, and she'll also have these maps. And then we just ask that you share this with your communities. All Coconino County residents can make a comment. When you make a comment, you would be asked to give your full name and your address, whether that be a mailing or a physical address. And then you can make any type of comment that you would like. It could be 2 sentences or a whole letter. It is really up to you, but every comment will be viewed. And I also just wanted to share, I forgot here, the Navajo Nation Human Rights Commission also submitted a map for us to consider. And it's here. And when we first saw this, Lena kind of laughed and said, I'm going to need 2 helicopters to represent the area that the Human Rights Commission is asking me. Basically, they want us to do all of northern Coconino County, and then all of the Grand Canyon area, kind of all the way down to the I-40 freeway. So it is going to be a large district. They have provided data on why they made that decision. And I will also share that, but basically they have said that just looking at their data and reviewing it, they recommend that District 5 look the way this map is showing, and to represent more of the Native population as well, and to have a supervisor that represents the community at large, which happens to be the Native American population. So I can take any questions now, and if there's none, I can just share a few district updates.
Den Dialogue chapter officials, NOST Regional Council.
Chair, this is Darlene.
Yes, Madam Vice President, you have the floor.
Oh, Ms. Morales, I hope you understand Navajo.
I will do my best, Darlene. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was actually studying these maps. The county, the District 5, the District 4, the Navajo human rights maps. As you mentioned, Ms. Fowler may not, the seat when they run for their seat, they might not be voted back in. So far, District 5 is Lena, District 4 is Judy Begay, and District 5, Tuba City, though, as you mentioned, there any met me showing like District 4. Ako map do F so one of them, I believe it was map F. That's going to change. Okay, should that go with District 4 or late? Map F. Okay, on this cancel. The Navajo Nation human rights map. That's it. Because we don't know if Ms. Fowler will be voted back in, and also Ms. Begay be voted back in. If those two ladies are voted back in, or one of them, at least the Navajo human rights and the District 5 and District 4 as he's. But right now, the map E, the FKA just by population, and 2,000 or something like that, or several hundred population. It even measure. If they voted back, if the two ladies are voted back in for 5 and 6, 5 or 4, to me, either one, E or F will work. F may work better if Navajo Mountain, so should Navajo Mountain Buntis cancel edition. District 4 it's somewhat going to even District 5 District 4 Navajo Mountain so as far as the Navajo Nation rural area in with the Navajo Nation Human Rights, today I the District 4 or 5 I'm just curious. Well, actually, that's my comment. I have been looking at I've been studying the map for Navajo County, Coconino County, Alto, San Juan County, Navajo Mountain, because so I've been wanting to reach out to you guys with Lena, not only this redistricting, but also the voting registration drive. Thank you.
Thank you, Darlene, for your comment. I do know that just some side information that the Navajo voting rights are also looking at this as well. And they haven't submitted official comment, but I'm told that they are looking into that as well. So we are, like I said, we have until April 12th before everything comes in. So I think a lot of this is going to be fast moving now until then. So for the latest information and to see all of the comments, I will put the address here in the website. You can go to our county website. They do it live. It's a live GIS mapping, and then a live, I think they have the recordings of the public sessions on there as well. And it's just also wanted to say that it's really difficult to do redistricting right now because all of our meetings had to be virtual, and it's really hard to present information, especially when you have to view maps virtually or listen in by phone and kind of get an idea of what's trying to be presented to you without seeing it. So I appreciate everyone's patience today. And then also thank you for taking the time to also view the maps yourselves and to really study them. So we appreciate all that. Thank you. If there's no other comments or questions, one thing that we wanted to share is we're currently open in Tuba City for tax preparation. It's free income tax preparation. We've been doing free taxes for the last 8 years, and so we are continuing again. We had a delay earlier in the season, and we started just last week reopening. We had a wait list, so we finished taking all of our wait lists last week, and so now we are open to new clients. And so the reason why we have it strictly right now in Tuba City is we're low in our income tax preparer volunteers. We have 3 people manning the Tuba City office, and then we have 3 others that are preparing virtually. And so once we kind of get a grip for the next 2 weeks, we're going to consider what we call ad hoc sites, where we visit probably other communities so that we can have in-person preparing. So the tax deadline is April 18th this year. There's a lot of new changes. There's also people who haven't received their first, second, and third stimulus payment from the federal government. We can help get those retrieved. And then last year, because there was new tax laws introduced mid-tax season, we're also correcting a lot of tax returns. So an example for that is unemployment. The first $10,200 of unemployment eventually became not taxable. And so if you filed really early on in early January or February, you got taxed on that, but you can fix your return to make that correction and then get whatever needs to be reimbursed you if you overpaid. We can have that redone there too. So just wanted to announce that as well. And earlier Supervisor Benali mentioned that there's broadband meetings. Supervisor Fowler and Navajo Nation Key Allen B. Gay have been hosting the Navajo Nation Broadband Initiative meetings. Our next meeting is going to be on April 13th, which is a Wednesday, from 10 to 4 daylight savings time. It is going to be in Blanding, Utah at the Navajo Nation Trust Office. I believe it's going to be in the Utah State Building where they also have the DMV, but that will be the next location. And what the hopes is and why we're having these meetings is to have a regional partnership with all of our county supervisors that represent Navajo Nation have been involved. All of our council delegates in our region have been actively participating, and it's to partner so that we can come up with a regional plan for broadband. And so we just met last month in Phoenix, and all 4 states office that have broadband offices attended and provided a presentation. So Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico were in attendance and sharing their plans. So this next meeting is we're going to talk about deadlines. What are the people's deadlines, granting opportunities, and then also having what is broadband 101 kind of class. We have a lot of technology terms that are being used at these meetings. So it's just doing a general education of what it means to have fiber. What is fiber? What is a tower? What is a microwave? What is Starlink? What does it mean when you say you're going to put a covert into the road, and how wide it has to be? So just cutting it down to the basics. So if you want any more information on that, I'd be happy to share that. But we have a huge partnership now. We started off with 50. We're now at 110. So it is growing, and it is a really good partnership meeting. So we also encourage those that are interested in participating. We can add you to our emailing list to receive meeting notices. So that will be the end of my presentation and update. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Morales, on your presentation. At Shanto, we have a real thin sliver of coconino, that the southern portion of Shanto. Maybe we can populate that area with maybe build a small community down there. That way you'll have some population increase in coconino. Any other questions for Ms. Morales on her presentation? I hear none. While Secretary is putting up the agenda back on the screen. Again, I think we'll share the presentation with you. Excuse me. There's no other question. Let's drop down to item 10, discussion, issue, and concerns. Letter A. I have NOST region plan operation. Yeah, this thing's been on our agenda several times, and we haven't set a date to do the plan operation, simply because we're all busy, and we need to set a date to work on our plan operation. Any ideas, or I'll open the floor for discussion.
Very good. Maybe just a recommendation.
Okay, you have the floor, Mr. Curley.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. And again, I think I failed on my part to provide you guys the plan of operations, which I will email to you here shortly. And I will provide also my changes. I did forget to provide those, but in the meantime, I think if we can schedule a time or something like that, maybe a sort of a work session we could really benefit from that.
Mhm.
So I think having a strategic work session, because I understand that Tapikin is also wanting to do, I understand that regionally, we were wanting to do a trash or a transfer station for our trashes. And so I think having something like that included in our strategic plan, along with this plan of operations revisement, I think it would be beneficial for us. If we could maybe establish a date and a time, that would be great. Back to you, Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Curley, for your recommendation. Yeah, as mentioned before, we need to establish a time and we need to come together and work on our plan of operation. Although yeah, it's true that we have common goals that we need to come together and bandit on Zondo, even with our club seat. So we need their involvement on some of these. That way we can share the information.
Chair, this is Darlene.
Yes, you have the floor.
Yes, recommendation. They maybe assign at this meeting, today, because I need to call digital kind of assign a homework for everyone, all the 4 chapters and chapter officials, red grazing, clubsy, assign a homework to see how did the plan of operation. Halet ola yang seconds ani asani zeno in homework. What to assign alia got arin the basa nadi work session. What to basa nahas long asana has meeting pa nanit ashi. Papo nanitza. Asa koko I know that Mr. Dealer, that change recommendation, the revising it. That's good. That's a good start. John the Asaki and he individually in our chapter, our representation for our own local chapter. Halet all about tickets. And so yeah, the Shni put out in homework assign hand in the Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for your recommendation. Yeah, that's something we need to do on our own. And I mean, we're all officials and we know what the plan of operation is. As leaders, I think we need to come together and work on a plan of operation because it's based on our, I know right after this meeting, you're going to ask for a sign-in sheet or any kind of, some kind of a document that say you attended the meeting. So things like that, it needs to be included in our plan of operation. So stipend on that's like a priority to everybody. So things like that, we need to include that in our plan of operation. And better husband, we've been in this position for about a year now, and we need to move forward with our plan of operation. To start planning for our regional council area. Any more questions or comments? Yeah, Mr. Curley, I believe he emailed you the one he worked on and the old plan of operation. Maybe in your look at it, and then we'll work on a date. We'll email you what we're thinking of, maybe a good time because we all, our chapters are scheduled like with their meetings at different times, and it's like looks like Mr. Curley is bringing up the plan operation. Those of you that logged on, you can, it's visible, it's on the screen. If you called in, then you can't see it.
Sure, I'll go ahead and just quickly go over this.
Okay, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Chair. So here again, I didn't get so when the plan of operations was passed a while back, when the resolution was provided and RDC approved this resolution to recognize NOST Regional Council. There was just a PDF, so I went word by word, copied every single thing and tried to put it into a Word document. And so now I did send you guys a Word document, and I'm sorry, I don't think I have the grazing reps emails on my distribution list. So if you guys could please forward those to your grazing official and whoever needs it. So as you guys can see here on the first page, basically Navajo Nation, Navajo Mountain, Oljeto, Shanto, Apican Regional Council, NOST, Western Navajo Agency Council, Plan of Operations. Again, this one is just word by word as to what was approved according to that resolution. And so when I did my recommendations to change those, you'll notice that Nazis on was added in there, and Shanto Community Governance chapter was added in there. And so as you go down, you'll see the table of contents, basically just the overview of what is to cover in this plan of operations. And then as we go down, you have the establishment, and I'm showing you just basically my quick revisement. And some of these items are listed in red, and so again, I'll go ahead and go back into it. I have a different document that actually changed the Navajo Mountain to Nazis on there, so I didn't have that with me today, so this is what I have right now. But that was just the only change I put on there. But as you guys can see, it basically will line out
Can I make a comment?
the words on there. Go ahead.
This is Secretary Treasurer for Nazis. There is a litigation for that name, Nazis and then Navajo Mountain. So I guess I'll just leave it as Navajo Mountain. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I'll continue to leave it as is then. And then I guess is what you guys are looking at right now would be sort of the changes that I put in place. So again, we didn't have really an election of officers, so I put that in place. And during the time when our Miss Geraldine, Tsapikin chapter president, when she was slated as the NOST secretary, we didn't really have a procedure or anything like that regarding how to replace her. So I kind of put words in there to sort of get that into fruition if we plan on replacing an officer within the NOST council. And so again, this basically just requires everything else. But if you guys do get some time, take a look at the plan of operations that I provided you, and if you have any edits, comments, or maybe concerns or something like that, please send them my way, and I can add those comments in this document. And then I think what would be better in the future right now would probably do like a shared drive or something like that, where I can give you guys all access to this shared drive where you guys can take a look at it and then sort of visualize the changes in there. And so I think I'll go ahead and do that next time. But again, there was nothing really in here for how to conduct meetings and what it would be considered a regular meeting, special meeting, and emergency meeting. So I also put those in there along with quorum. In here, like we were talking about earlier today, was possibly revising the quorum level rather than having the 11. I put 10 in here, but it's supposed to be 11. We could go ahead and provide that in here. And so other than that, that's just general overview of it. Again, I just sent those to you like not too long ago. So you guys should be able to have it in your email and you guys can review it.
Thank you, Mr. Curley. That's a good start. Although, yeah, I think it'll be good if we can come together soon and start working on it. And I don't know what your preference will be, in person or do a teleconference and do like when NAU or these universities that support the chapters, they usually come online and you can see what the changes they're doing. Work session like that. Basically, we're done, but I'm going to give the floor to Mr. Curley, since he works on the agenda, though he does a lot of things for us. I'd like to give the floor to him and give him a couple minutes to tell us what he needs from us. You have the floor, Shata, Mr. Curley.
Thank you, Chair. Again, I understand everybody has a busy time and their schedule, but I'm going to go ahead and echo the chair's comments, Roland, regarding that we are all leaders. And so I know I dropped the ball last time where I was telling you guys I was going to send out the agenda at 12, but I sent it out at 5. But if we have any reports, like any of these reports that you guys have provided today, or if you guys spoke on anything, if you guys could just provide me a quick email or something like that, just summarizing your discussion, or just what you have written out today. That way I can also attach it to the meeting minutes, along with when I'm trying to record everything. There might be some things I do miss. And so having a report on there, I think would be great. So that way everybody has a general idea of what was being discussed today. Let me see here. I think if you could also provide me your names, your numbers, your actual phone numbers. That way I can sort of include it on a little cheat sheet that I have here, or maybe I could create a roll call roster or something like that. That way everybody has the numbers to everybody. And that way when people do call into these Zoom meetings, if we continue on hosting these Zoom meetings, that way it'd be easier for me to sort of get your last numbers, and then I can change the names in the Zoom meetings, or that way we know who it is. Because sometimes the numbers pop up and then I'm trying to figure out, okay, who's this person, who's that person. So by having that quick reference, I think it would help me quickly establish as to who the person is. I know that sometimes we have areas that have limited bandwidth and broadband. And so, we do see several people who drop in and out. And sometimes when they've dropped out for so long, Zoom usually doesn't pick up that number and re-registers them. And so that has me to go back into here and having to figure out who just joined or who left. So And if we could, please provide me your meeting dates. So that way, when I do finalize the agenda, so I can send it out with having these on there. More or less just having your report and your resolutions as well. I mean, there are some items that we can entertain. If you guys could provide me just a heading as to what it's going to be, that would be great. And then sending me your resolution. Other than that, I will try to do my best to capture everything I can and send you guys the minutes, hopefully within the next couple of hours or tomorrow. Other than that, that's all I got. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Sta. Is there a time frame you're looking at for resolutions when you need them? Or to be
Yes.
on the
Yes, if we could just provide them at least a day ahead of time. I mean, I'm trying to, since we already have solidified our meeting dates to happen on the first quarter month on a Saturday, you know, that gives me some, I guess if you're going to entertain a resolution or something like that, just provide that to me. I mean, my phone number is on the emails that I send out, so you guys can save my number and you guys can text me anytime and provide me those. Call me anytime and provide those. But if you guys could provide them at least 24 hours ahead of time, that kind of helps me. I can email everybody if there's any changes.
Okay. Yeah, Sta, thank you for your information. That's real helpful. I mean, we're trying to be productive and be the most efficient, put out the minutes right away. That way that people get their stipends and get everything recorded and put it away. That way we don't lose the minutes or any information. All the information that was shared with us during the NOST meetings has been disseminated. I saw the emails come up from Mr. Curley. I mean, we need to be that efficient to move this ball along, the meetings along. What's next on the agenda? So next item on the agenda is item 11, resolutions, action items. So one, there's none. Item number 2, we don't have a resolution. Item 12, okay, next NOST meeting council meeting, July 2nd, 2022, hosted by Tzavi Kim. The last item on the agenda is adjournment. We need a motion and a second, council.
Motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Please identify yourself.
Willis Begay.
Both motion, yeah.
Oh.
Thank you. Second.
Second chair, this is Marcia.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion and a second. Oh. How do you want to do this, Mr. Secretary? You want to do roll call or shall we just? Roll call vote. Mr. Curley, roll call vote.
You know, we start the roll call. It seems like we still have one people on, so we'll go ahead and do that. Moving on to Herman Daniels, Honorable Herman Daniels, how do you vote?
Green.
Green, thank you very much. Patricia Blackhorn, how do you vote?
Patricia Blackhorn, I'm in favor. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll, Darlene Pino, how do you vote?
Green,
Thank you. Ella Badani, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Willis Gale, J2 chapter, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Jean Holiday, how do you vote?
I'm in favor.
Thank you. Marietta Bedoni, how do you vote? This is in adjournment. Roland Small Canyon, no, not voting. And Marsha Gray Eyes, how do you vote?
I vote green. Sorry.
Thank you. Robert Black Jr., how do you vote?
Green chili.
Thank you very much. Brittany Hunt, how do you vote?
Green.
Thank you very much. Geraldine Chi, how do you vote? Chapter.
Green.
Thank you very much. Dellard Curley, I'm in favor. So with that, Sharon, we
This is
have,
Marietta Baduni. I vote green.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
12, a total of 12. Mr. Chair, in favor.
You got Marietta Baduni, right?
Yes, I do. Have her voted green.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shanatana. Thank you for joining us and have a good day. Yeah. Oh, time is 1:06 p.m. Adjournment time, 1:06.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Shana. Have a good day.
Oh, no.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good day, y'all.